What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Great Men with Shane Sams. I am Shane Sams. I'm your host, and I'm excited to have one of my great friends and colleagues from the road on the show today. His name is Chris Graebe. He's a former cast member on MTV's Road Rules, former campus pastor at Life Church, a serial entrepreneur, an angel investor, a podcast host, a speaker, a best-selling author, but he's from Indiana, so we'll have to let that one slide. And he's been doing a lot of stuff over the years. He's invested in over 20 startups, valued in over $700 million combined. He's invested alongside sharks like Mark Cuban and Kevin O'Leary. And he's one of my good friends. Chris Graebe, welcome to the podcast, bro.
What's up, brother? Let's do this.
It's good to see you, man. Hey,
Yeah,
listen, you're
man.
looking good. Look like you got a fresh haircut, man. Just getting after it
I
today.
had to with this podcast. I had to look good, man. I had to
It's
show
a
up
big
here.
deal, man. It really is. I mean, you gotta put your best foot forward, dude.
Absolutely.
That's one of the most interesting arcs of any human being that I know, and it's one of the few that are as like weird and as unpredictable as mine. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So like, what was that like going through
Well,
that? And like, most people don't. We're all told pick a career and stay in your lane, but I don't think either one of us got the memo. So what happened?
no.
How did
I
all this
don't even
happen, dude?
know if I'm in the lane I'm gonna stay in. I'm switching lanes all the time, bro. This is fun. But yeah, I tell people all the time, like I have literally lived a Forrest Gump type life.
Mm.
And not only that, I married a woman named Jenny. So Jenny. So I am legit the real life Forrest Gump. But look, I'll say this, man, like that road, and I think for people, I even love this idea. This is kind of this idea I chewed on years ago called the Forrest effect, where these different moments in your life, like we're just like Forrest Gump, where he did this and did this and did this, and kind of all crafted and molded together. And they all don't make sense. Like, okay, you're a campus pastor, you're an author. Like, I mean, I was a yo-yo guy at one time, man. I was traveling around England, Australia, the United States, doing yo-yo shows for middle school and elementary kids. I mean, I've done kind of pretty much done it all, man. But every
Hey man,
single moment,
if you've got yo-yo on the resume, you've reached the end of the internet. You're done. That's
I
about you've
know
done it all, bro. I
I've
don't know,
niched,
man.
I've niched on top of the niche, bro. Like it's all the way down. But yeah, no, I mean, like all of those moments help me prepare one specific skill set to get me ready for the next thing and ready for the next thing. And so I'm grateful for all of it. And I've got a kind of a wide variety, pocket that I can pull from to go, okay, that'll help me here, that'll help me here. But yeah, no, it's been an awesome wild ride, and I just can't, thank my bride enough for hanging in there. I'm like, hang in there with me. She's like,
It's gonna be
yo-yos.
okay. I probably trust me.
Yeah,
It's
trust me.
like Jocelyn's. I think her most fearful words in our house are, "Hey, babe, so I've got an idea."
No, for sure. She's like, oh, oh
Oh,
no,
jeez, here we go
another
again. I'm
idea.
not even over the last idea
I
yet.
know.
Like, what are
Like,
you talking about, bro? It's
let's see
crazy.
if this one lasts. Yeah.
It's interesting too because a lot of guys, I talk to, they I'll, yeah, I'll say it. A lot of guys make excuses too because like they got a bunch of kids, they got family, and they're like not wanting to pivot because they got to protect their income, they got to do this, they got to
Yep.
do that. And how many kids you got? You got five kids? Is
I
that
have
right?
5 kids. Yeah.
You got five children, and
Yep.
those kids can be excuses or they can be reasons, and you've really made them like reasons for that.
Hmm.
Like, how do you take that into account when you've got this like you're currently in this life right now, and you've got these good things going, but then you're like, I think I need to change. But then you got those five kids, and you got to their life might change because you're making decisions. Like how have you done all these things, even though you've got this big family, you got a lot of stuff going on?
Yeah, for us, we weren't real intentional at the beginning of our marriage, and we were like, "Oh, that's how babies are made," right? So it's like we're in this thing. So we got married at 24, had our first kid at 25, and I was a college dropout, so I mean, I'd gone on MTV, so what? And so like, there was no real path to go. Well, let's just work for 5 to 7 years. Let's make a bunch of money, and then we'll start having kids. We'll have a good foundation underneath us. Like we just didn't we just were like, "Hey, man, we're on the kid train." And I was a pastor. So, like, it was double whammy on top of double whammy. She wasn't working. And so it was kind of like, all right, we were broke for a whole decade, man. And then I decided, I was like, okay, this has got to change. We were up to like, I think we were at we were at 4 kids, and we were getting ready to have a fifth one. And I decided to start a business, an Amazon business on the side while I was still a pastor. I was like, something has to change here. And
Yeah.
long story short, that thing blows up. We could talk about more about it if you want, but like that thing blows up, and then I have a decision to make. I'm like, okay, it's great when your side hustle is making you some extra income and you've got both and you're feeling good about it. You're like, cool, making more money than I ever made in my life, and I can get a nice house and we can go have great vacations. This is good. But then you go, okay, there's another thing about going. Okay, I see my wife, I see my 5 kids. I'm 37 years old, and I'm gonna leave my full time job. I'm gonna
Mm.
jump out of this plane, and I think I have a parachute that works, but I don't know if I do. But like
And I
the
know I ain't got a backup.
and
I
I
got the
know I
first
don't
one
have a
stuffed in
backup.
pretty good, but the
Oh, dude,
backup's not there.
I had like on my hand when I made that jump, I was like, I had four. I was like, well, if this doesn't work, this will happen, and then this one and this one. And you're just like, and bro, like slowly, but the fingers just kept dropping. Like, oh, that one's not
Yeah.
working, and that one's not working, and that one's not working. And you go, okay, this is harder than you'd ever possibly imagine. But look, at 37 years old, I knew, man, I was at a moment where I was like, if I don't make this move right now, I'm always gonna live with what if. And one of the
Hmm.
things we like to say in our house is, which what if are you willing to live with? Because at some point, there's always a what if. Like, what if I would have done this? What if I would have done this? And so I don't ever have to. My what if is like, well, what if I would have stayed being a pastor? Like, that'd have been great. But I knew what it was like to be a pastor. I knew the road that was going to be down, but I didn't know what it was going to be like to take this leap and take this jump and take this bet on myself. And so I kind of always knew that if it didn't work out, I could go get a job as the pastor again somewhere. But I was like, I have to do this, or I will
Yeah.
always wonder what if. And so yeah, I mean, the kids was the biggest. The kids and my wife were the biggest reasons why I was like holding on, because I was like, man, and sometimes I think the kids are great because they ground you a little bit. You don't make just absolutely stupid moves where you're like,
Totally.
okay, I can't be that dumb. So
Right.
you're still, you have a calculated risk situation that happens.
I think that's a flip too, is like just make your kids the reason, not the excuse. You know what I'm saying? And I just posted on Instagram this morning. I did a post this morning. I'm a what if guy too. It's like, what if it doesn't work? But what if it does?
For sure.
And you have to put yourself in the right place to be in the right place at the right time. And if you
Yep.
don't move, like nothing's ever going to happen. And then it's funny now that my kids are getting older. We started out about the same time. I was 35 when I got started with like, wait, there's a business, there's something I can make money doing something else.
Yep. Yep.
And when we quit our job, my wife was terrified, bro. I
Oh
mean,
yeah. For
I
sure.
look back at it now and I'm like, yeah, we probably should have waited a year because we had a hard time that first year. We were like,
Yep.
oh, you mean sales go down sometimes?
Mm-hmm.
Crap. No one
Mm-hmm.
told me that when I was quitting my job. But like on the other side of it, it's like, okay, we did it. We had the opportunity. Same thing in my house. Like this house, I've got 40 acres. I got a private lake, 5,000 square foot house, and I bought it for peanuts because the guy, it was going to auction the next week. And I was like, Jocelyn wasn't quite ready to move here. And I was like, babe, if we don't do this now, it's going to be gone. Like this is a once in a lifetime place. And
Yep.
like, but those moments, man, I don't think they're as scary for men. Men are kind of like, we're kind of like the kid that's climbing the fence and falling off and scraping our knee. We're like, ah, whatever. But like when you have a woman that you live with, they got feelings.
Yeah.
And those feelings, ooh, those
They're
feelings, man,
they're there.
they're a
They're
lot.
strong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
I think what's nice, and here's the thing that I think, and I'm sure you've probably felt this with Jocelyn. Like, the more you make the call and it works, the more they go, okay, and time, man. Like and you've made enough calls. You've made some dumb calls, but like you start to stack the wins where it's like, okay, I think he knows what he's doing, and you just because you've been there before. You can make a call and you can make it faster and then go and you can see it. You can see how it's
Yeah.
going to play out.
And you can explain it better, the vision of it, of what's
Exactly right.
happened in the past, you know?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And you can even point to it. I mean, there are things like I know, and I'm sure a bunch of guys listening here, like it took me a long time to get good at the car game. I was really bad at the car game for a while. I would pick the wrong car for the because I was trying to be cheap, but I was like, okay, this one's got 80,000 miles, so it should be good. You're like, dude, anyway. So I'm better at that now. But the thing I've always been good at is real estate. Like just for our personal residence, I'm like, I think this is the move in this neighborhood at this time because my
Yeah.
guess is this, and this. And but my wife, she's not always been the best of the real estate side of things. And so like when things, she's like, but I don't think we should. But when we get into, it, she's like, this is the right move. This is the right house. This is the right time. And so when that happens, like you start to go, all right, checks and balances. Like I think this is the move we need to make. And she goes, well, you're usually pretty right on this one. And so
Yeah.
you build that trust,
You
right?
build
And
some trust. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. We had an interesting moment that we had a season though where as things kept getting bigger, like
Mm-hmm.
stages get bigger, money gets
Yep.
bigger,
Yep.
employee teams get bigger.
Yep.
We had this weird tipping point though that was like we had this season where it was like this can't keep working. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was a weird place because
Yep.
nobody prepares you for that. You can't
For
really
sure.
prepare for it.
Yeah.
And that was interesting. It was like, look, I believe in you. And yes, I know you've figured some stuff out and we've done this together and all these things are happening. But come on. How many times can we actually go to the well? You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? And that was an interesting, I won't call it conflict, but it was an interesting thing that I couldn't have mentally prepared for how to handle, like
Yeah.
as a husband and a partner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well,
It's
I think
interesting.
you've come to realize, and probably most people listening here, especially anybody who's had some success in the world of entrepreneurship, always come a day where that thing that once worked won't work anymore. Like,
Yes.
and I think people, and one of the lessons I learned on my Amazon business when things were exploding is the day that you say, "This is so good, I'll never sell it," is probably the day you need to think about listing it.
The
Because
wheels be
it's
coming off. There's a lug nut loose
where you're
somewhere.
just like, this is so good, man. I'll never get off this train. And that's usually when the time where God tries to get your attention or something happens where
Oh
you're
yeah,
like, that's probably the day you go, shoot, I need to put this up for sale because it's the most valuable it will ever be today. I mean, maybe not. Maybe there's work you could do, but I just always think like, because eventually seasons come to an end and people just they don't ever factor that in or think that in their life.
totally.
You're like, no, this ride's gonna like because you've had successful business. I've had successful business that you're like, that was a great run, but now it's no longer a thing. Now it's
It's
time
not a
to move
thing.
on to
It's
the
just
next thing.
gone, and
It's
everything changes
crazy.
so fast, man. And my buddy Jason Brown, he's a stock guy, and he says you can't go broke taking a profit. And like that, I think that actually my greatest skill as an entrepreneur is moving on before the wheels fall off. Like
Right.
I've been able to identify certain places. Like when we sold our first company,
Mhm.
the elementary librarian education company,
Yep.
I was kind of looking at it. We were talking about it. We hadn't been in the school system in years, and I was looking ahead, and I was like, I think one of my local schools, like the librarian retired, and they didn't hire one back.
Oh wow.
And I was like, wait a minute, hold on here. And then when you start looking at it, you're like, this is happening very, very, very slowly across the country. That at least that industry was evolving, and
Right.
librarians were doing different things. And then you're like looking at like, ooh, AI, freaking technology, what's going on? Are we going to have libraries? And I was like, we get out now, it's probably not as valuable as it could be, but we can't go broke taking a profit. I did that with peptides, which we can talk about. This is one of my favorite subjects to talk about with you. But like
Yeah.
I started the GLP-1 semaglutide in 2022. So
Mhm.
it was coming. It was starting to make some news, and I lost like 25 pounds in like 8 weeks. And I said, Jocelyn, I don't know what is happening right now, but this is miraculous. And I went and I invested in Nova Nordisk at like 100 something.
Okay.
And over the next 2 years, it like skyrocketed to almost 500.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'm taking my chips out of this. Now, it did
Yep.
keep going to 1,000, but who cares?
Still a
I
profit, bro.
basically I tripled my money in
Yep.
a very short time. I put it right back into VOO or whatever, and
Yep.
just let it ride. So it's still making more money. But I think a lot of dudes, man, they buy into that sunk cost fallacy and they hang on way too long, but they're scared of having to figure out what's next. That's a problem if you're
Yeah.
scared to do that. Even figuring it out, not just taking the leap. You know?
Well, I think I once heard, Erwin McManus say something about this idea of a couple different thought process. One, if you're 24 and somebody goes, man, you have so much potential, you should feel good about yourself. If you're 35 and everyone's like, man, that guy has so much potential, he could do some really great things. Like, okay, all right, it's still good. He's like, if you're 45 and people are still saying he has so much potential, he's like, you should be in the corner in the fetal position, sucking your thumb because you have messed up and you have
Mm,
missed your opportunity. And you're like, wow.
wow.
But he also talks about this idea of like, like, oh, I have this idea or I have this business that I'm doing and somebody stole it or didn't work or whatever. And you put your identity around that one thing. He's like, you're telling me that your whole world is just one idea and that's all you're good for the whole way. Like then you need to get back into work and you need to keep thinking, growing as a human, because there are more ideas, more opportunities, more ways that you can grow, and you will come up with something else you can put your hands to. But when guys put their identity into one specific thing,
Oh yeah,
that's
man.
why they hold on to it, dude. And they're not going to let go of it. It's like, no.
It's also like this is a problem that I think me and you. It's really easy to spotlight this for us because we are public speakers and public
Yep.
figures, and we're out in front of people.
Mhm.
And the problem is you're projecting snippets from who you really are in a very 110% way because you got to reach the back row. But this happens to all men is like it's not just like who are you and what's your potential. It's like you've created this persona and identity publicly. And it's like if I change this, can I still keep
Right.
doing this? Can I still keep doing that? Will that guy still call me back? Will whatever happen? But on a
Right.
small local level, man, like you're a thousand different characters and a thousand different stories of everybody that knows you. And I think that's where some of that fear comes in is like, yeah, but if I go start the new business, or if I take the idea, or if I do something irresponsible, do I lose all of this network and structure that I've built that's created some of these things? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think the thing is funny. It's like people probably don't realize how loose that really is anyway.
A
You
hundred
know,
percent,
you
man.
know, it's like
No, nobody cares.
you're like, hey
Nobody
man,
cares.
yeah,
Yeah.
everybody is roll. If you have something for them, great. But like I remember like when I left the church, it was awesome. I was at the church for 7 years working with Craig Rochelle, and it was super cool. I got a master class in leadership, but it was time for me to move on. And people get so hurt. They're like, but I thought we were. You're like, look, guys, this was transactional. You had a job, they paid you money. Like you built some friendships, sure. Maybe you had some moments with some people and you cried, and maybe you will have some deep friendships in it. But like, it is what it is. Like you don't expect like, wait, I thought we all had. He's like, you like understand that like people are doing their life and they're still in that vortex. You jumped out of it. So like what do you expect to happen? People are gonna like, oh, I'm so sad you're not here. It's like, yeah, maybe a little bit, but like they have to feed their kids. They have to move on with their life. And so I think that's the thing. Like most people just realize you need to realize like, hey, it's not that deep and people aren't really spending a lot of time thinking about you. And so
Yeah.
like your little foundation and your structure, like it's way more fragile than you realize. And
Yeah.
so like I mean, maybe you have a friend or two that can help you, but like most people are just trying to figure out how to take care of themselves and their families.
I had the first time I ever experienced that was so I coached college football for like 3 years. And then I was
Mm,
like, this is too much. I can't do this. It's 7 to 11 every day. This is stupid. So I
right.
was like, I'm gonna go coach high school football. So we kind of made that transition. So, but I'm still the football guy. I'm still the football coach. I'm still that guy. And I coached this place for a while. I was the defensive coordinator when I quit my job,
Mm,
and the head coach was he's about 10 years older than me, and we were really close. And like we had turned this program around from like nothing to like real contenders, you know.
yep.
And when I told him I was leaving, he got really, really sad. And I was like, "Hey, man, dude, we can still call and talk ball. We can still do this." He's like, "Nah, Shane, that's not how it works, man." He's like, when we're not together, working together, like we will drift apart, and this season will be over. And that's what makes
Yep.
me sad because I know this. I've been through this. So it was a great season, but it's going to be gone. And but I didn't believe him because I was young when I was like, oh, it's all right, mom, man, we'll still be best buds. But yeah, sure enough, man, like within very quickly, everybody's got stuff to do, man, and it just moved on. And like I think I learned from that. I learned to plan for that now. Like that's what I do. I don't ever plan like 30-year visions. I do things to prepare for the future. Like I have a set percentage we always invest every month in the stock market, period. So I'm doing offloading some of that to pay attention to the long term. But a buddy of mine named Grant Baldwin said one time, he goes, man, everybody tries to drive 1,000 miles, but really all you need is the headlights. And that really stuck out to me, man. I was like, I need to plan for 3 months, 3 years. What's the next chapter going to look like?
Yep.
And move toward that and let the friendships and the network and the all those things just kind of happen as they do. Because you ain't friends with your high school buddies. You ain't friends with your college buddies. You don't talk every day. Maybe a couple of them. You ain't friends with those people you worked with in your 20s. Like, that's not what this is all about. And the faster you can embrace that as a man, the easier decisions get in your life.
Well, yeah, I totally agree with that. I think the other thing that people don't really recognize is that if you're intentional about growing as a man or scaling a business or becoming a better husband or father or whatever, most of the time, Shane, like the other dudes around you aren't trying to do any of that.
Yeah.
So like if you really want to change and you really want to go to new levels, like some of those and most, if not all of those relationships are going to have to go because they're not thinking. They just sometimes it's almost a rub. Like your ambition, your drive, your vision, you're like dude, chill out, bro. Like what is your
Oh yeah.
problem? Like no, I don't have a ton of hobbies. I go to the gym, I hang out with my family, I work, I dream, I build. Like
Yeah.
but it's like, "Oh, well, you want me to go golf with you for 5 hours?" Like, "Okay." Like,
Yeah.
"Cool. I'm not going to do that. That's not my thing." One, if I'm going to spend 5 hours, I'd rather be with my family. So like that's the thing. Like most of those relationships, like when I left the church, I was told while I worked there, you're the best of the best, man. You guys
Mhm.
work here. This is the largest church in America. Like you get it. You're the best of the best. You're the cream of the crop. You're really great. And I was like, that's all cute and everything until I stepped out into this vast wasteland of entrepreneurship where like the vultures ready to eat your freaking eyeballs out, dude.
Every day,
Yeah,
every
every freaking
conversation.
day. You wake up every day, you're like, cool, all right. Anybody coming to save me? No, nobody's coming to save me. And so guys will call me all the time and I'm like, they're like, hey man, I want to do what you do. I like to be an entrepreneur. I want to step out and take the I was like, no, it's too hard. You're too
Yeah.
comfortable, you're too deep in, like don't do it. Because they're just not nobody understands. Like and you probably didn't understand. I didn't understand how hard it was and how hard it was gonna be till you jump out. But like when you find others, you look over in the trenches and you're like, oh dang. You see a dude like you and who's wired like me, and it's like, hey, bro, like you're still here and you're going to keep fighting. You got some battle wounds and some scars and like, all right, I'm going to push you to be stronger. You're going to push me to get stronger. But most guys probably don't even realize that that relationship doesn't need to last because that guy's just going to get fat. He's going to get lazy. And there's a certain threshold where he makes enough money that he goes, I'm good. But if you
Yeah.
want to keep driving, you're going to have a new network of people.
Totally, man. You said some interesting things there, dude. Like one of the themes I've caught in the last few episodes of like even just recording with my buddies on this show is I've always thought about that shift as like that moving away from what you don't want, moving toward what you do want.
Yeah.
And probably for the first maybe 10 years of being an entrepreneur, because I didn't know any better. I was a freaking school teacher for 10 years.
Right.
What do I know about business? But
Right.
like I was always focused on building my external kingdom, right? Like
Mm,
I'd look at my house and be like, that's my castle. And I'd look at my land and I'd be like, that's my land. You know what I mean? And
right.
like
Right.
I started doing all that. And when I started really, really focusing on the relationships of people like us, we talk about
Mm,
this all the time, like moving forward, doing these things, I was like, wait a minute, these dudes are building their inner kingdom first. These guys are like that. No one's coming to save me. And I got to grow as a human being and a man. I've got to become a better version of myself. I heard an Instagram thing the other day where it was like, this guy was, it said, hey guys, like you're complaining that your wife hasn't had sex with you in a month, but look in a mirror. Would you have sex with you? You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude,
that's
work on
cool.
yourself. Like that is, but it's like
Yeah.
people who are so outward focused, external, and they
Mm-hmm.
don't go internal first. Like you can't build the external kingdom till the internal kingdom is right. And like one of those key pillars of that is like your physical health,
Yeah,
because both of us have had that moment where we looked down
for
and we were
sure.
like, is that my body? Like, did I do this to myself? How many Oreos have I eaten in my life to
Yep.
look like this?
Yep.
And we
100%.
both made like huge physical transformations, all the above.
Yep.
Like we GLP-1s and all that stuff. Like what was that journey? Because getting your health back, it's as hard as entrepreneurship. It was like, oh crap, I have to start this, I have to do this, I have to be consistent with this. What tools do I have to help me do this? Can I even get back to something like what I was? But I think your body's got to be strong if you're ever going to succeed in everything else in your life. You just have to do it. So like how was that journey for you to start losing the weight and getting in shape? You look great, by the way. You're jacked. Freaking jacked. Got that
Trying to be
sweet
like you. Just
silver
trying to be,
fox hair
yeah,
cut
trying,
fresh.
trying to be like you when I grow up. Yeah, I mean,
Never.
it was funny. I was in, I like go to my local YMCA. They're pretty nice here in my area, and I was in the sauna, and this guy's fitness dude. He works out. He's pretty good or whatever. I hadn't seen him in a long time. And I walk in, and he goes, "Whoa!" He goes, what did you do? He's like, bro, you look so different. You're like, all right, that's it. That's one of those like tells you're like, all right, I've been putting in the work, and the people closest to you go like, wow, you look great, man. But like someone is just like, holy crap, you
I
look.
ain't seen you in a while.
Yeah, I
Dang,
ain't seen
man.
you in a minute, dude. Like, what do and so all that to say, man, I think for me, it was just kind of like, I don't know. I I think for the longest time, like, you can just rely on skills to a certain level, and then you hit a wall and you go like, you know what? Like, if I actually want to influence anybody who's going to listen to me, if I'm on stage, if I'm on a podcast, I'm on a video, if I'm selling something, or anybody, even someone in my life, they're going to go, okay, because there's a fork in the road, right? Like I'm 45. What are you? You're 40.
48. Just turned
48. I thought you
48.
were 48. Yeah. 48. So there's a fork in the road where like people, you give up, or you fight. You
Hmm.
fight to keep like looking good and feeling good, and that means you're fighting for your marriage, you're fighting for all the things that come along with the fight, like in a
Yeah.
good way. And I think I just was like, and there comes a place too, like, not that you can't do it in your 50s or 60s, but it just gets harder and harder the older you get, right? And so,
Exponentially.
oh,
Yeah.
just
The muscle
there's
mass you have in your 40s is what you'll have in your 50s, and you
yeah,
got to maintain that because in the 60s, you
yeah,
got to now you're in a war to hold
yeah,
it as long as possible, dude.
yeah. Yeah, so I think I was like, okay, like my wife is gorgeous and she takes care of herself. And I've got these 5 kids and I have a son. I have 4 daughters and a son. And I just want them all, like, I want my girls to be able to look and go like, that's a guy that I want to, that's a type of guy that I would like to marry someday, who's taking care of himself, who cares about his family. Same with my son. I want my son to go like, all right, my dad looks good. He's taking care of himself. Like, giving him a model from where they're going to go. I don't want to get, you're right. I want to give my wife something she look at and go like, yeah, I'd love to hook up with that dude. And so,
Right, exactly.
like all the things, and just the feeling good. And so, like, there's a place where you like, before you should be like, ugh, I gotta go lift. I really need to go lift. I need to hit the gym. And you could feel that way where like it's a mindset thing. You flip it and you're like, I gotta go move something around. Like, I'm ready. Like,
Totally, man.
can I go get to where you're just like, you can feel it. You've built it now into your DNA and your framework. You're like, I have to go push some weights around. I have to
Yeah, yeah.
go get that out. And then you just feel better and your brain works better and sex works better and all the things work better.
No, nobody leaves the gym unhappy. You're not happy when you get there. You're not happy on leg day, but you don't leave I've never left the gym and thought, boy, I wish I hadn't have done that today. Now,
Right.
there was a 5-year, 10-year period where I didn't go to the gym at all, and
Same.
I
Same.
paid for it, man. My
Yeah.
body got so sick, I almost died in 2022. I was in the hospital for like 9 days, and I just laid there at 280 pounds, thinking this would have been a lot easier if I had just not weighed this much. That was kind of one of the sparks in it in me. And then actually I was backstage at Life Surge one time, and the green rooms were weird. There was like this second like auditorium or something where some of the green
Mhm.
rooms were, and I was kind of back away from everything.
Mhm.
And I was back there, and I had been out on stage. I wasn't hosting; I was just doing a talk. And then I was kind of getting my stuff together, and this guy comes up and goes, "Hey, man, are you Shane Sams?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. What's going on?" He goes, "Oh, dude, I heard you talk. I was asking, I just want to meet you. I came back here to find you." But it was like, there's no way he could have just wandered around and found where I was. And he was leaving, and I don't know what made me say this. It was just me and him standing there together. I go, "How'd you find me back here? How'd you know where I was?" And he goes, "Oh, I just asked him where the heavy set guy on stage was." And I was like, "Cool, man." I kind of played it off like, "Oh, okay, cool." I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm the heavy set guy.
I'm the
I'm
guy.
that's the identity that people are not only asking about, but know who they're talking about, and it pointed them toward me. I was like, I got to do something about this. This is not how I want to be like known in the world, right?
Yeah.
So dude,
Yeah.
I'm a teenage mutant ninja turtle, man. I take 2 peptides in the morning, BCP 7 or whatever it is, and T
157.
157 and TB 500, I think is what it
Yeah.
is. And
Yeah.
then at night, you done the Samarillion yet? Have you taken Samarillion?
I've taken epipurellin, but I haven't
Okay, yeah,
taken
yeah. The
Samarilla.
Marillans, whatever they are.
Yeah.
That is actually very interesting because you take it at night, you go to sleep, your
Mm-hmm.
own body releases human growth hormone. It's not like a
Mm-hmm.
steroid or anything. That's made me sleep better. I do the
Mm-hmm.
TRT for life. Anybody's not on TRT, you're crazy.
Sure,
You will
especially in your
probably.
40s
I want to
plus.
be buried with a bottle of TRT. I just want it in my hands, like in the casket. I'm just lay it on top of me and thank God for
100%.
whoever invented it. But
But
man, that
it'll be the empty bottle because he didn't leave any. He didn't
I
leave
I
any
didn't
left
leave
in the
any behind.
bottle. He
I
left it
didn't. I
all.
took
He
it
just
all.
brought it. Yeah, you only bring the bottle.
Just like, one embalming fluid in one side and just give me the rest of my TRT stash
Yeah,
in
that's
the
exactly
other,
right.
so I can take my TRT into the afterlife. I had pushback though, man. It's you wouldn't think that people would push back about you going from 280 to 225 and like going from just just so fat to jacked, right? And I'm probably in better shape now than I was when I was in my 20s and I was in good shape, you know. But I was at a reunion type thing, and there's a lot of my family's just like every other family. People have varying degrees of taking care of themselves. A lot of them
Sure,
don't as they should. Some
sure.
do. And a cousin who hadn't seen me in a long time comes up to me and he's like, God, man, you look. He goes, you look like you've lost some weight or something, you know. And I'm like, yeah, man, I've been really working hard on my body. It's kind of my foundation. I want to make sure my body's good, so I have the energy to do everything else. And he goes, well, I can't believe you went and got healthy on us, man. Like, why'd you do that? And he like kind of like it was like he was like, hey, everyone else doesn't look like this. You shouldn't be doing that. Don't do that. Don't be getting all healthy on us now. Don't be doing all that. And I was like, and I'm like, did that just happen? Someone was like, that was literally the crabs in a bucket analogy all at once. And it wasn't like joking. It was like he was like dead serious.
Right.
And I don't know if it was
Well,
just a mirror to his changes in his bodies or whatever,
that's it.
man. You know,
That's what I was gonna say, and you nailed it. It's always a mirror, bro. Like everyone's holding up you're holding up a mirror to them, and they do not want that mirror held up. Like
yep,
they go, no, 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 come on, man, come over here with me. Like what are you doing? Because anytime you want to start a business or you want to whatever, I mean, like people various stages of it, and you probably said it before, like where people were like, yeah, man, go for it, dude, like that'd be great, it'd be so cool, and then they can be supportive on the side, but when you actually are successful, it's a
hmm
very different story, and especially when it comes to weight loss or whatever, because it's just because they know that they're not willing, they just love that comfortable life, dude, like
totally,
they're
man.
like
They could, they
they could
could, everybody could. It proves that you could,
totally
and that's a
can.
problem for a
Yeah,
lot of
and
people.
because they go, this is what we do. They believe the narrative. This is what we are. This is who we are. This is what we've always done. This is what we do. We go to the football game on Friday night. We go to Disney every 2 years, and like we're middle class, and this is it. Like this is our lot. Like what are you trying to do here?
Yeah.
And they just they and I'm like, and you're just holding up a mirror, dude, and it's disturbing to people, and they can't handle it.
Yeah,
That's why your network gets smaller. It just gets
yeah,
smaller.
100%, man. Like there's only so many people I can talk to because like it's I just want to be surrounded by great dudes doing cool things.
Yep.
Like you and I get to talk. I mean, we get to see each other on the road sometimes. We get to
Yep.
talk, every other month, maybe every couple months or something. Get to hang out. But like when you find guys like we can just jump on a call anytime and it's like we've been talking the whole time because we're thinking the same way. It's like, okay,
For sure.
am I better than yesterday? When I see like you or one of my boys do something amazing, and I'm not saying this was like this in the past when I was doing 9 to 5 stuff, but like when I see that, I'm like, good for him. Like that. Wait, I didn't know that was possible, right? I didn't know that normal people could do that because once you meet all these people, whether it's Ed Milet, Chris Graebe, or Shane Sams, they're just
Yep.
dudes doing
Yep.
stuff.
100%.
Like it gives me inspiration, man. Like I can go make something happen in my life, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's the piece. It's like I think once you've tasted it, but like, and here's the other thing. Part of the reason why you want that to happen is because who wants to be alone on the ride? No one
Yeah,
wants to be
man.
alone on the ride. Like if I look up and go like, way to go, Shane. That is freaking awesome, dude. Way to go. Because that means that there's somebody else winning in that same kind of area. And also somebody that I can call and talk to about something. Because the
Yes.
further you rise in whatever arena, you start to realize that there's just very few people that you can call. Like, God bless my dad, but like he did the corporate grind his whole life. Like I can't call him about anything I do and get advice on like
Right.
work because
He ain't
he's
gonna
just like,
understand your Instagram story strategy.
I mean, he didn't even like. I mean, like even for the longest, he goes, I still don't really know what you do. And like it's fine. Like my friends ask, what does Chris do? And he's like, I can't really tell him because it's just like because we're just moving at a clip, moving at a pace. So like, yeah, when you win, it's just the coolest thing because I can learn from you, I can
Totally.
celebrate with you, and and when I have questions, I can come to you and go like, hey, you've been where I haven't been,
Yeah,
and
rising tides, baby. Let's go. You know what I'm
100%.
saying? It reminds me of that you were ringing the bell at the Nasdaq, and you posted that clip of your daughter. That was also a beautiful mirror because like that happens in my house all the time, right? And you were like, "Hey, I'm here with my daughter. We're ringing the bell at the Nasdaq. It's bring your kid to work day." And you're like, "Hey, real quick, what do I do for a living, honey?" And she was like, I don't know, business, conferences. I don't know what you do, right? And I'm
That's
like,
it.
she lives with you. And like
Yep.
my kids, even to this day, they'll come ask me, like Anna Joe's like, no, now what do you do? Like, why are you out there in front of 5,000 people? Like, what is it? Why are you podcasting? And then like people will follow me and they'll ask her, like, what does your dad do? And she's like,
Uh-huh.
he's in business or like whatever like that. And like even that is a weird thing because it's like I mean, I know. I say I'm an entrepreneur. I joke when people ask me that. I say I change lives for a living. I'm in the transformation game, baby. Let's
Love it.
go.
Love it.
And but that's a weird thing. I commented on that post. I'm like, I'm doing this immediately, and I think that comment on your post got more likes than anything I've posted in a month. But like, it was a like that is a weird place to be in. But there's a lot of dudes out there that are in that place if you will go find them and you can surround yourself like with those people. What do you say you do for a living? Do you say you're a speaker or something? It kind of depends who I'm talking to, you
Well,
know?
it's really interesting. So I'll give you a fun example. I was backstage at Life Surge, I don't know, a couple of cities ago. I think I was in, I don't know, Kansas City. And this guy was there. Guy's kind of a baller. He wasn't on stage or whatever. He's built businesses. He's got hedge funds and stuff. And he's like, well, what are you doing here? I was like, oh, I'm the host. I'm the MC of the day. And he's like, oh, cool. And then he's like, would you call yourself a professional host? I was like, I don't know. I consider myself a professional, whatever I do. I said,
Mm,
but I also invest in startups and I just rang the bell at the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ. The second I said that, it
right.
completely changed the way that guy saw me and even postured him. So he's like, whoa. His next sentence is like, well, I guess you won't be doing this very much longer, will you? And talking about the hosting thing. And I'm like, I enjoy all of it, but it's just so
Yeah.
interesting the buckets that people will put you in immediately based off of what you say. And so I almost kind of try to stay a little bit more like man of mystery. Depends on who I'm talking to, depends on where they're sitting. Like do I care their opinion?
Yeah.
I try not to. Like I'm just gonna do what I'm doing. Like if I impress you, great. If I don't care either because it's just who I am and what I do. And so yeah, it depends on who I'm talking to. But yeah, I mean, basically what I say is I invest in startups. I have a newsletter of people who invest alongside of me, and then I do speak at and travel at large conferences. And so my wife and I have a podcast. We've written a couple books together, and so
I
you know,
like being multidisciplinary, man. I'm wired that way. Like I'm wired for new stuff and novelty. But it's
mm,
also cool because over time, like like if I look at somebody, I'm like, I'm a professional speaker. Like, hell yeah, I am. But I can also
yeah,
look at people and say, I'm a podcaster because in my
mm,
heart of hearts, I love this. This is what I love
mm-hmm,
more than anything. But I can also say I'm a community builder. I can
mm-hmm,
also say I'm an investor. I invest in stocks. I invest in real estate. You can when you can go out and build those things into yourself over time, you get to be
mm-hmm,
those things. I met this football coach. It was awesome, man. Like I love slipping back into old like it's good.
mm-hmm.
Like sometimes to remember. I
Sure.
met this football coach. We were hanging out, and it was just a bunch of friends hanging out. And I was like, "What defense do you run?" Well, he's like, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm a speaker, and I do some things online." And he goes, "Oh, cool." He goes, "I'm a football coach." I'm like, "Hey, I used to coach football. What do you do? Oh, what defense you run?" And then I was just like, "Oh, you ever run this? You ever do this?" And we were just talking ball,
Yeah,
you
right,
know.
right, right.
And it's like that is me. Like that guy, that's a part of me, but it's not my whole identity. And
Yeah.
I like having parts more than just a box that everybody puts me in, you know?
Well, I totally agree, man. And what's cool is defense. Understanding defense has probably massively helped you in business because you're
Oh, get
constantly
out of here,
running
bro.
plays, right?
Let's go.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
there's so many principles, but it makes me think about what's the guy that did the launch formula, Walker. I can't remember his first
Oh,
name.
oh, Jeff Walker.
Yeah,
Jeff
Jeff
Walker,
Walker,
the
right?
product launch for the
Yeah,
launch
product
formula
launch
or
from it.
something,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Yeah,
So like I remember a story he told years ago, and I thought, man, it's so interesting. Is he, he had the launch formula and like crushed it in a, kind of a D2C world. He was direct to consumer, direct marketing or whatever, and just crushed that product. And then he also had this book, The Launch, like launch formula or whatever. Well, somebody was introducing him to Richard Branson, and they introduced him as a best-selling author. This is best-selling author, Mr. Walker, or whatever. And the guy, it was like, it was funny. Like, I made all my money in this product launch formula thing, but the thing that the guy thought would bring status, Richard Branson, is like he's a New York Times bestseller.
oh
And
yeah,
it's just funny, like how people will position, because it's like really he's the most successful because he's made all of his money building a funnel and selling to people. And but like
totally.
somebody else, it's all about status and credibility and out there. So it's the New York Times bestseller is the thing that got you there. So it's just always so intriguing to me the way people position and do all that. And I really was bad for a long time because like I don't play games and I don't care. And it's just like, hey, dude, well, just understand society and how this thing works,
Yeah,
and just
you're in a game. That's what
for sure.
life is, and you have to. This is something me and you talk about a lot. Like I
Yeah.
do think I do think that standing on top of a press box for 10 years and seeing the whole field
Hmm.
has totally been how I've ran my businesses and entrepreneurship and
For sure.
relationships, because you have to be able to like zoom out and like even the skills that transferred forward, like the editing. Like I used to edit our highlight videos and all of our
Yeah.
clips, but that made me able to like go edit podcasts when back in the day it wasn't click a button and do it. I had to code and stuff, right?
Mhm.
So like it's interesting how some guys can look at their skill sets and they say, how can I apply this in a different way? And that those are the guys that are able to shift identities, change careers, build new businesses, introduce themselves to a Richard Branson and have some kind of accolade that can relate to them. But a lot of dudes, they're like, that is their box. It's like, oh, I don't know what else I could do. It's not what else you could do, it's what you can do with what you've got.
Mhm.
That's like the next level of being able to do that. And when you see the whole field, I love talk. I love it when me and you get to hang out, like just chilling, and we're like seeing the economy and seeing the
Yep.
whole field, and me and you
Yep.
get to really zoom out and
Hmm.
kind of look at everything. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
it's funny that you say that because it's so interesting. I mean, I didn't ever connect it with the press box of where you stand or whatever, but it makes total sense for you. I when I go to a game, I don't want to be on the field. I want to
No,
be as far back as I can so that I can watch the whole thing. I want to see the
totally.
whole thing unfold. And so I just wonder for those listening who are like, "Oh, am I trying to get too close to the field? Like I got to work in my DNA. Maybe it's natural wiring and they want to see it. But if you can start to look at the bigger picture, I love it. I heard years ago they talked about I was watching this like docu-series on like the Rockefellers and the Vanderbilts, and they said that the most successful people are the ones that are able to see around the corner. They're able to kind
Mm-hmm.
of like you said, pull back and go like, I think I see how this is all going to play out, and I have a hunch. I don't have all the if I'm there, then we already know. But if you can guess and play a couple strategic moves, kind of not necessarily push all in, but like go, I think this is going to be a deal. I can see around the corner here. One of those bets is going to pay off for sure. But I
Totally,
I,
man.
I love that.
And like that's what I think a lot of people mess up in like networking or like building new relationships, is they get so focused on the relationship they want, but they don't realize that there's five or six people around that person that you probably can get to easier,
Mhm.
and it's like they're holding a mirror around that corner,
Mhm.
right? Like I'm sure when you're doing your angel investing stuff, you're talking to people that are adjacent to
Yep.
these companies, figuring
Yep.
out vendors that are working with them, and like looking at the bigger picture so that you can actually like make your best possible guess of like what's going to happen, or
Mhm.
get to the person you need to build the relationship with anyway. And you've got to be able to do that. You want me to tell you the best place to watch a football game?
Tell me.
The best place to watch a football game is about 30 rows up in the corner, because you what happens is if you're sideline, you have this weird perspective, tech mobile perspective, and you can't
Yep.
always see how things are working. If
Right.
you're in the end zone, you're
Oh yeah.
blocked off a little bit from the backfield or whatever. If you get in the corner, that
Mhm.
one shift in perspective will you can see through the gaps in the offensive line. So you can see everything. You
That's
can
cool.
know the play is going to happen before it ever happens. And that's kind of how I live my life. I don't like to be on the 50-yard line in the best seat of the house. I don't like to be on the field with the team and like
Mhm.
whatever. I don't even like to be in the end zone so I can celebrate when they score and catch the kickoff.
Yeah.
No, I want to be in the corner. And I kind of just I sit back like that. And I want to be where I can see everything. And
Yeah.
that's the best place to watch a football game. So,
I like that.
since the Indiana Hoosiers won the national championship, when you get your season tickets next year, you can go. All right. So one thing I've noticed being a humble kid from Kentucky that has no idea what he's doing in life
Yeah.
is
Get it.
I don't have anybody really talk to about these things either. Like I love my family. They're amazing, hardworking, great people, successful. We've got a good family, right?
Sure.
Everybody's doing well,
Sure.
but they don't have that perspective. Like I remember one time I was buying a house and I'd bought like 5 houses, and I love my mom. I go to her for a lot of different things and wisdom, but she was telling me about this house. I'm like, Mom, you lived in the same house since 1950 and your grandfather gave it to you. So, like, this is not your wheelhouse. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Right.
So, as I've progressed up in career, relationships, health, wealth, whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
new levels, new devils, baby. I mean, like, big things come with a price of admission. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like when you look back at that, like you operate at a very high level, like one of the highest levels of any of my friends. Like what do you think it costs you to go up to the next level? Like to play those games? Like what's something you wish someone had told you about the madness that comes with something significant? Like maybe before you started that Amazon thing that blew up, or maybe even before you walked out on a big stage in front of 10,000 people for the first time.
Yeah, that's man, that is a great question. I think the thing that took me a while to understand is that every single level is about serving somebody else, and every
Mm,
level you get, you start serving more people, and it becomes really like very little about you. It's so
totally.
everyone's asking for advice. Everyone's asking for you to connect them to this person or that person. Everyone is like, it's very, hey, can I get your thoughts on something or whatever? It's very rare that they're like, hey, how can I help you, man? And so it's and that happens, but you have to just realize, like, look, you've gotten kind of what you wanted, and so now it's a little bit more isolating. There's very few people who've done what you've done, and a lot of people are going to want a lot of things from you, and so you
Totally.
have to be okay because this is the life you chose.
Well, you have to also remember, let's say you go up 3 levels and you do this over a decade. Just because you got to the next level doesn't mean everybody there is the next level person. Like you're going to get to a place. We've been in green rooms with some crazy people. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
sure.
You're going to get there though, but that same humanity exists. There's a lot of people that will get to level 4. Boy, level 4 becomes comfortable. I don't want to lose level 4. And if you want to go to your level 5, you're doing the same thing. It's the same thing as people in your life that aren't doing anything. You got to go get with people that are doing stuff.
Yep. Yep.
Everybody's getting comfortable somewhere, and you've got to be able to move past that
Sure.
because they're going to want to hold you there even more when you're a key part of something or you're doing that.
I also wonder too, like, if I'm for the longest time, I used to really like watching Survivor. I haven't watched it in years. I barely watch anything. You keep the things you start shedding in your life. You're like,
Yeah,
all right, like
I love Survivor. One of the
yeah.
greatest moments in television history. Do you remember when that Sean guy, like for the whole episode, this one guy was there. It was this African American guy named Sean,
Oh yeah,
and
Sean.
right before the vote, I mean, you didn't know that this other guy was getting voted off until his clip. He goes, "Checkmate, bruh." And then they show him voting, and he's out. And I'm like, "That's the greatest thing I've ever
Yeah,
seen in my life."
yeah. Well, there was a guy, Boston Rob, who was on Survivor, and he
Yep.
was one of the most notorious players ever on Survivor. And he said, if you want to win Survivor, you have to constantly stay paranoid. And he just would constantly live in a place of, like, he was just kind of always watching. And I think, like, in business, and I'm not saying you have to be paranoid, but you have to always, and maybe it's coming from small town Kentucky or small town Indiana, like, just knowing that, like, I am stepping into arenas and places that, like, almost nobody in the state of where I grew up for sure in my town, for sure in my school, for sure in my graduating class will ever step. And I'm going, okay, you're right. I could get very comfortable. Go, these are I'm seeing some pretty sweet numbers in my bank account, and life
Yeah.
is really good. But like, I just I love the game of it, and I stay paranoid enough that I'm like, okay, like, and there's a question in the movie Founder about Ray Kroc of McDonald's and his first wife, and he was just like, he kept trying and trying and trying and trying, and he was getting some traction. And she goes, "Are you ever going to be satisfied? She goes, is it ever going to be enough?" And that's really a question that I wrestle with too, man, because like I don't know if it'll ever be enough, man. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to
That
keep
enough
driving and
question's a
building.
big deal. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a big deal. But there's a shift there though. I think I've done a lot of mental health work like over the past like 5 years. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that question that we all come up with. Well, I'll tell you a story. I think I've told this on the podcast before, but I'll tell it real quick. I remember one month we were really doing well, and I thought we had a chance at $1 million in sales in 1 month. So you get these goals when you start a business, like, oh, I wonder if I can double my salary, or
Right.
hey, I wonder if I can make $50,000 in a month. I wonder if I could do 100,000 in sales in a month, right? Whatever
Right.
it is. And there was this really one moment where I was like, I think we can do 1 million in a month. And I got into my team meeting. We're getting ready to do numbers, and my director of operations comes up, and she's like, 800 something thousand. And I said, and I remember this moment because I caught myself in the moment. I was like, dang, man, we were so close. And after that meeting, I was sitting there like, what are you talking about? Like, you didn't celebrate that? Like, that was, if you could go
Yeah.
back and tell your
Wow.
20-year-old self that you would lead a team that would be doing something like this,
Mhm.
it'd be preposterous.
Right.
And I started asking myself that enough question. And I was like, it's because that not enough question is a good thing if it's aimed at your life.
For
It's
sure.
never enough, man. I want to live forever. I want to keep playing the game. I want to keep hanging
Mm-hmm.
out with Chris. I want to podcast. I
Mm-hmm.
want to do. I want to keep going,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But like we attach the enough to like some goal or some money or some
Right.
whatever.
Sure.
And if you can shift that back to, hey, I'm gonna die someday. There's some urgency here. Like
Yep.
it's not enough, but it's not
Yeah.
like we're trying to squeeze money out of it. We're trying to squeeze
Correct.
life. It's never enough life, man. But
Exactly
if
right.
it's about money, you're screwed.
Oh,
100%.
1,000%
There's
screwed.
always more money that you have to go make and move the goalpost.
Yeah, I think a big thing is just like, somebody said something to me the other day about retirement. I was like, that's just not a word in my vocabulary. And it's not a matter of like, I got to keep working, I got to keep making money. It's just like, I just want to be alive. Like this, I
Yeah.
just want to feel alive. Again, it comes back to serving. Like if you understand that this little spin on this thing called Earth that we have, and for 40, 50, 60, 100 years, like if you understand quickly that it's not about you, it's about serving other people, then why the hell would you just go park somewhere on some senior golf resort and just do crosswords, take a nap, and go golfing, and that's it?
And
Like,
earn interest and then die
yeah,
in three
and
years
earn
because you're
interest, and you're
miserable.
dead. Yeah, because you literally have nothing to live for. Like, what was it like? I heard it's like the whole thing is like retire, recline, and then die. Like
Yeah.
that's why you'll never see a recliner at my house, bro.
Yeah,
Ever.
man.
Like it's
And
just
also
not
too,
happening.
like I hear a lot of people will say things like, "Well, it's easy to say once you've done something and you're successful and you got some money." And I'm like, let me tell you something, people. I've been nearly broke twice in my entrepreneur journey. I have soared with the eagles, I have slithered with the snakes, and I know I am always three bad decisions from being broke.
For
So
sure, dude.
it's not like that does anything to change. You might be able to extend your burn rate and your runway,
Yeah.
but like it's a choice. There's
Yep.
this great song I love called "I Don't Want to Be Famous," and it's this girl talking about how she wants to be like famous, but she really doesn't want it. And there's this line in the song. It says she's saying, "I don't want to like be famous." She goes, "I just want to put the words into the songs that make you cry and feel alive."
Mm.
And I'm like, yes, yes, that is it. The money will
Yeah.
come from that, but dang, man, like
For sure.
serve
That's good.
people, man, pass something on and
That's it.
freaking help somebody. All right, last question.
Okay.
So at the end of it all, I think me and you, like, I think I've realized lately as I'm getting closer to 50 I always dreaded my 40s and 50s. I was like, oh God, I'm going to get old. I'm going to do this. But as I've gotten healthier and I've
Especially when you're
realized
fat, I bet, right? I
especially
mean,
when I
like,
was fat, I'm
yeah,
going to get
right,
fatter and
right.
unhealthier. This is terrible. And
Same,
my
bro.
knees hurt. And then but my journey through my 40s and, seeing like journeys with my friends like you guys,
Yeah, yeah,
like you, like I realized that like, dang, dude, I feel so young. Like
yeah.
I have a lot left to like do. So like at the end of it
Yep.
all the angel investing deals, the stages, the companies, the content, whatever you're doing next, strip that all away.
Okay.
Like right now in your 40s, what does greatness actually look like for Chris Graebe in his life? Not the metrics, like what does a great life look like for you? How do you make meaning into your life?
Oh, I think it's really simple. It's it's that like God's pleased with me. My wife is still madly in love with me. She trusts me. And then my kids can look at me and go, wow, that's my dad. And I think
Mm,
like as long as those three things are happening, then that's greatness as far as I'm concerned.
yeah. Beautiful, bro. Chris Graebe, tell everybody how they can find you. Chris does a lot of stuff in angel investing. He finds deals for people, and great men invest. Great men invest in themselves. They invest in others, other companies, all sorts of different things. But how can everybody follow along with what you're doing out there in the
Yeah, you
interwebs?
can just go to ipodealhunter.com, ipodealhunter.com. That's going to be the best place to, kind of learn about that world. If you want to invest in startups, you're trying to go, hey, I want to diversify alternative investing. I'm there trying to teach all about it. And then, yeah, just find me on Instagram, Chris Graebe on Instagram. Pretty
Not
easy stuff.
not gravy, like you're
No,
putting on your mashed potatoes.
no,
Graebe.
E B E. That's right. EBE. My whole life, I had to go real slow on that last part.
Yeah, man. Hey,
EBE.
listen, man. I don't proofread, and I'm from Kentucky. They barely taught me how to read, so this ain't a spelling bee. I'm
But
just
you
trying to
nailed
get it
it.
right.
You
All
nailed
right,
it.
Chris. Hey, love you, brother. Appreciate you, man, for being on the show, dude.
Thanks, bro.
All right, that wraps up my conversation with my brother, Chris Graebe. Love that dude so much. And he just hit on a lot of different things, man. Like one of the things that really stood out was when you get into anything, if you keep moving the goalpost on yourself, then you're never going to have enough. And like when we're building things as great men, when we're trying to do great things in our life, like it's got to bring peace. It's got to bring provision. It's got to bring protection for our family. But man, there's got to be a place where you can look at it and say, man, this is good. Doesn't mean you stop growing. Doesn't mean you stop going. Doesn't mean you stop chasing that next level. But make sure that next level is something that you're moving toward and that you want for your soul and for your life, and not just this endless paper chase, not just this endless, I got to do better. I got to become more famous. I got to become more known. Like whatever it is, like all that stuff that the world says is greatness. Yeah, sometimes you get there and it's not. I mean, you can climb the ladder of success, but you can get to the top of it and you can look around and go, "Oh crap, this is the wrong wall." And that's the whole point of this podcast. Is the whole point of the guys I bring on the show. It's the whole point of the Great Men Brotherhood is to help you put that ladder up against the right wall, to pick the mountain you actually want to climb, and to go build a great life on your terms. Man, thank you so much for listening to the podcast today. If you haven't done it yet, make sure before you turn this off, just go and hit that review button. Leave us a 5-star review. Tell us what you love about the guest, love about the show. That's going to help more people find the podcast, more good men out there trying to build greatness into their life on their own terms. It's going to help me get bigger and bigger guests so you can hear the real story of these people that you see online, you see doing things. They can kind of tell you a little bit of their wisdom and knowledge they've picked up along the way. And, Chris touched on this earlier, man. Maybe you're building something. Maybe you're a driven man. Maybe you're a successful man. And some of those people in your life have kind of fallen away or you've had to walk away from them and you're feeling like you're on the journey alone. You do not have to be. The vision of the Great Men Project is to unite people together, get guys in one place so that we can support each other, so we can see each other. Man, when was the last time somebody came up to you and just said, "No, how are you feeling? How are you doing right now, man? Are you okay?" That's exactly what the Great Men Brotherhood is all about. You can go over to greatmen.org and you can check out everything that we're doing inside of our community. A lot of great guys in there talking every single day. We meet together once a week during lunchtime. We hang out and we have a good time. And it's a place where you can go be seen. It's a place where you can be heard. It's a place where you can feel. It's a place where you can get help, support, and love from other great men just like you. You can also follow me along on Instagram if you want to see what I'm doing out and about today. I do some rants over there. Have a good time. Post some clips from the podcast. Just show you what I'm doing on a daily basis. That's at Shane Sams Creates. And if you love the content that I'm putting out here, interviewing guys, hanging out with my brothers, just hanging out with other great men, these are great conversations. But I actually write on Substack every single week. I write articles about things that men are dealing with, men's mental health, that physical transformation like we started about. If you want to get your health back, you want to go see what we're doing over there. But just talk about all the things that we deal with in life as men in the modern world. You can find that shanesams.substack.com. Leave that review. Go follow along. Send me a message. I check every single one. I'd love to talk to you too. That's all the time I have for this week's podcast. I want to encourage you as I'm getting out of here right now. Every single day, man, you need to get up. You need to aim up. You need to show up. You need to go and build a great life on your own terms. I'll see you next week.